Today we're going to talk about the brain, the origin of life and entropy. First, we're starting with the brain. Here is Sonya, a brain expert.
The brain, one of the most important organs of the human body. What is it?
Now I am in the university, observing students. They are hurrying to class, meeting friends, living their life. Many of their actions are generated deep inside their skulls, inside the brain. But how does it work?
Our tissues contain numerous cells. Brain consists of several types of cells, such as neurons and glial cells. Of course, it is also penetrated by blood vessels. Actually, that's a curious fact, but brain consumes almost 25% of oxygen that our body gets. What does our brain do? Well, it generates all our responses. It's an action-reaction relationship that we have here. Brain is a part of central nervous system which is represented by the brain and the cord.
Here is an example. One is touching something with eyes closed, but we know it's a cute furry animal. How does the individual know what he is holding? The brain processes the information coming from the receptors and comes up with actions, which are then sent back via motor neurons of the somatic nervous system.
What do you feel, Eva?
It's tickling and it's a little bit furry.
And who do we have here? Now we have just seen one of the functions of the brain. But how could such a complex structure evolve? With a shooting right from the heart of Africa, Dr. Sophia.
Where do we come from? We can trace back our generations for hundreds of years. And since Charles Darwin, we know how species evolved into the many, many different kinds we see here today, even in this little piece of Africa. But knowing how things evolved does not mean we understand how things actually came to be, how life started. One of the first theories about how life started came from Charles Darwin. He stated that if there was a little warm pond with many different kinds of nutrient-like substances, that life could develop in that kind of situation. After that, however, many years have passed since Darwin, and there are many different scientists who came up with several explanations of how life could have started. They use different kinds of information, such as the fact that certain bacteria prefer certain types of climates, and certain fossil records, what we know about our last universal common ancestor. And they have managed to find things that we weren't able to find with fossils, because we don't have fossils from that time, and there's no one who can tell us what really happened.
But people can find theories, and one such theory concerns black and white smokers. Those are hypothermal vents, places deep in the ocean where heat, magma, and some elements from the inside of the earth come to the surface. This provides a lot of energy and a chemically interesting place with reactive gases, dissolved elements, and suitable thermal and chemical gradients. In such a smoker, some molecules might have collected in small gaps in rocks, which would then become a primitive cell. The environments in black and white smokers would constitute suitable conditions for prebiotic synthesis. Some ancient bacteria are extremophiles, or lovers of extreme temperatures, something that might point to the beginning of life in black or white smokers.
What is life? Now that's an interesting question. There are several ways of defining life. Let us first identify the following characteristics. Life is encapsulated. It is surrounded by something to keep it different from its environment. It has the capacity to reproduce itself, grow, and store information. And finally, life interacts with its environment. But another way of defining life is that it locally decreases entropy, and this is what makes life so unique. Entropy is a measure of disorder. Everything will always become more chaotic and more disordered rather than more organized, simply because there's more chance of something ending in a disordered state. Life does not seem to apply to the second law of thermodynamics, that states that chaos or entropy always increases. Life has a way of organizing itself. It uses nutrients and energy to grow and maintain itself, therefore decreasing entropy.
The reason why life does not go against the second law of thermodynamics is because life itself is not a closed system. Life needs energy from its surroundings to maintain its own organized state. Comparably, students need to put an effort in their rooms or working places to keep them tidy.
Students' rooms are generally much more messier than their usual household. The older a person gets, the harder it is for this person to keep a room or house tidy. Now why is this? Why are older people better at decreasing entropy? The main reason is because the brain of an older person is further developed compared to an adolescent brain.
And that brings us back to the brain. Today we have been talking about the brain, entropy and origin of life and how they are connected in a special way. Join us next week when we will be talking about the systems biology.